There's been a lot of buzz about Prashant Kishore over the last week or so. And even before that, but over the last week, it's sort of the speculation has simply intensified. And the reason this is happening is because I think you'll have to step back and take a look at the larger picture. And the larger picture is simply that you have the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is a political hegemon, which is dominant at the national level. And at the national level, at least, there seems to be no way that anyone is going to be able to disrupt them. That's what it looks like. At the state level, obviously, there are various states where they've been defeated, and there are various states where they've been defeated pretty badly. But at the national level, there is no alternative narrative. And I think people are looking for that narrative, right? I mean, it's the reason why when Novak Djokovic plays an underdog at Wimbledon Centre Court, everyone cheers for the underdog, right? I mean, no one's cheering for Novak. And in the same way, I think people are looking for an alternative. I'm of course not saying that politics is a game, but everyone's looking for an alternative. And in the absence of any political alternative, which means anyone in any of the political parties who could perhaps emerge as a gel, a glue, a combining force who can get people together to take on the BJP. I think people are now actually moved on to looking at whether someone who helped parties win elections can do that. He's always been extremely media savvy. Even when he doesn't speak to the media, he's media savvy. And I think there has been a lot of print space and airtime devoted to every move of his ever since the West Bengal elections. The immediate trigger for all this attention that Prashant Kishore has got, of course, is a meeting that he had with the Gandhis. Again, the Congress party didn't tell us what was discussed. Prashant Kishore himself did not tell us what was discussed. There was a lot of speculation as to what could have been discussed. One was that he was here as an emissary of Captain Amrinder Singh. He's an advisor to the captain, who's the Chief Minister of Punjab. And there is this dissidence that is happening within the Congress party in Punjab. The party unit seems divided. The elections are next year. The crisis needs to be resolved. And there was talk that he was here as an emissary of the captain. There's also talk that he was there to put forth the idea of a common candidate for the presidential election. Now, we've pointed out in an article in Hindustan Times that the BJP does not have the numbers to actually elect a president of its choice, that it would need the help of allies, that it would need the help of friendly parties, which means parties which can't be counted to support it, but which are not opposed to it in any way. The left parties, for instance, you know for a fact that they're never going to vote with the BJP, right? But some of the other parties, the TRS in the past has done it, YSRCP may do it, the Janata Dal United has done it in the past. So they will need the support of these parties. And the speculation was that Prashant Kishore suggested that Sharad Pawar, who's the Nationalist Congress Party president, be made the common candidate now for the president. Now, this is, again, in the realm of speculation. But what made it plausible or what made it seem true was the fact that in the last month he's met several times with Pawar. In the last month he's met several times with other leaders of other political parties. The third theory put forth was that he was actually there to pitch a plan for the revival of the Congress. Now, everyone knows that the Congress party needs to be revived for the simple reason that you lose one election in 2014 badly, and then you lose another election in 2019 almost as badly. Clearly means that there are some fundamental things that are wrong with the party. And in some ways, these are the things that the so-called G23, the leaders in the Congress party who sought change and who wrote to Sonia Gandhi seeking change in how the party operated, these are the kind of things that they asked for. They wanted the same kind of change. But also in terms of strategy, in terms of what the party has to leverage. For instance, there were reports that he told the Congress that they had done a very poor job of leveraging their legacy of past leaders. I believe he also told them that they had done a very poor job of owning reforms, of staking claim to the good economic policies that were put in place by Manmohan Singh and Narasimha Rao, and of the growth that India saw at least between 2004 and 2014, because some of the best years of the Indian economy actually came in that decade. Now, any of these is possible. The reason all of it sounds true is because there is an element of plausibility to all of these. And the speculation is that he's been told that he should become part of the Congress, take a senior role in the Congress, perhaps a general secretary level role, and work his changes from the inside. The big question, of course, is, let's assume all of this is true. Everything we've discussed is true, although we have no confirmation for anything. Prashant Kishore is going to join the Congress. Can he work a miracle? Now, this is it's not even $1 million question. I mean, you'll have to pick a bigger number. And the reason is, to what extent do you credit people's victories to him? Because you look at the kind of people he's worked with. These elections, for instance, he worked with Mamata Banerjee. But to what extent did he influence her victory? To what extent did she herself manage the victory? He worked with Stalin. The DMK was widely expected to win Tamil Nadu, so no real surprises there, although there's the hypothesis that Prashant Kishore sort of put the finishing touches on Stalin and Stalin's campaign. Possible, but to what extent do you credit him with that victory? The AAP government in Delhi, I mean the AAP political party in Delhi, last elections, again he consulted with them. Did he help them, or because they were anyway favorites to win? So to what extent do you credit these victories to him? And to what extent do you credit them to the parties in question and to domestic factors? That is really something that none of us knows an answer to, right? You look at Uttar Pradesh, where he worked with the Congress and the Samajwadi Party, and it was this coming together of Akhilesh Yadav and Rahul Gandhi, and everyone made it seem like this big bromance, right? I mean, it was like a good buddy movie from Hollywood or Bollywood or whatever, and it came a cropper at the turnstiles, at the polls, right? I mean, they didn't even make a dent. The BJP swept the assembly election, so it didn't work. And Prashant Kishore himself accepts that this is probably one big defeat in his career. And also, being a consultant, and I used to be a business journalist. The history of business journalism is replete with instances of consultants who tried to become CEOs of companies. Didn't really work. The reverse works. If you're in an operational role, it's much easier after a certain point in time to become a consultant. But you work as a consultant for one of the big three or the big four, or however many companies there are in consulting, and then you are put in an operational role. It doesn't really work all the time, because being a consultant is very different from being a party person, being within the party and trying to make those changes. I've also generally noticed, and this is true as much in politics as it is in business, people tend to listen to consultants a lot more than they tend to listen to their own people, right? So will he have the same kind of voice if he joins the party? Because right now, he's what, I wouldn't call him a unicorn, but he's got that X factor right now. He's won elections. He's the only person who can stake claim, and like I said, we don't know how much of the credit should go to him, but he can definitely stake claim to all these elections that he's won across the country against the BJP. It's not easy, but he's done it. Although we do know that state elections are different from national elections. Now, does this mean that he has what it takes to really jump into politics and take on the BJP at the national level? And that's the question. I don't have an answer, but at least it will give us something interesting to write about and talk about.